road that leads to a hell of our own making. I'm talking about a road that has an obvious roadblock at the end, not just a bump, not a stumble, a roadblock. And we still keep moving forward down that road as if we don't know that we're going to run into the roadblock. And I'm just asking myself, why? Make it make sense. I think we're going to delve into it in this video. I have 3 reasons why I think we do that, especially financially, and I'm going to help you redirect and reroute yourself. Stick around. Hey YouTube, it's Teddy Ewing, bringing you financial freedom through education on entrepreneurship, hustling your grind, and building generational wealth. Right before we get started, I want to remind you that my cryptocurrency course is open till August 15th, so get in, get your learning on, get your 30-day money-back guarantee trial of this course, and learn everything you need to learn about cryptocurrency and more. It's an exhaustive course. Click on the link, review all of the modules, all the lessons, and hopefully you'll see it the way I see it, as a great investment and something you need to get into. But this video today, I want to talk about making your own second chances. I think a lot of us start going down a road, and by way of a lot of reasons, we don't reverse down that road because we're too worried about extraneous, external things instead of worrying about the things that's right in the middle. That is you and potentially your family. So I'm gonna talk about 3 things that occur and how you can redirect yourself. All right. The first reason I think a lot of us head down a road with an obvious roadblock, or it's a hell at the end, or it's something negative waiting for us, is we turn something into an irrevocable contract that isn't so. It can be as simple as on Monday, you commit yourself to going out with your friends on Friday, and come Thursday, you realize you had a long week and you really don't feel like it, but you don't want to hurt people's feelings, so you be stressing over it all Friday, and you still go out on Friday and have a bad time, spend money you didn't want to spend or didn't have, or whatever, put them heels on for you ladies and your feet hurting and you didn't even want to be there. And it can be as complicated as to committing yourself to a financial agreement that turns out to be a dud. I did a video a few days ago on whole life insurance. Perfect example. When my girlfriend told me she got whole life, and I just, I almost cringed talking about whole life. And I asked her to send me the paperwork she signed because I don't think it was at face value what she thought it was. So a few days ago, I made a video about whole life and how my girlfriend purchased whole life against my advice, and I'm not her advisor, right? So I just gave my own personal advice. And when she did, I asked her to send me the contract because what she was saying was she'd have a huge cash value at the end of that 20-year term. And when she told me how much she was paying every year annually, it was impossible. The numbers don't make sense. And you guys know how I am about working the numbers. The numbers didn't make sense. So I told her to send me what she had signed so I could help explain it to her that was impossible. And sure enough, in reviewing the paperwork, we came to the conclusion it wasn't what she thought it was. And she wasn't gonna have nearly as much cash value at the end of the 20 years. The funniest part was the most alarming part was she didn't backtrack from the agreement, right? She still said, well, she still liked the policy and she still wanted it, even though one of the main factors she got it was for the cash value at the end, and it didn't pan out. And the same thing goes for people who buy too much house. You buy a house that you can afford the house payment, but then you didn't realize the property taxes and the homeowner's insurance and the maintenance and the electricity bill and the water bill and the lawn care bill and all these other things. So you've committed yourself to this thing that has ballooned and exploded into something you really can't afford, but you don't back out of it. You buy an expensive car. You can afford the car, the car payments, but then you don't realize the maintenance costs. And every time you take it to the dealership to get looked at, you're out of $700 to $1,500. And if there's a major incident that requires internal work, you're out of thousands of dollars, and you can't afford that. So all of that happened. So you're traveling down this road, you realized in your head, I can't afford what I've signed up for, or I can't emotionally afford it, mentally afford it, physically afford it, whatever. And you don't back out of it. And I think it's because we made it a contract and it's not a contract. If I've bought too much house, I'm going to speak with a realtor and maybe a good friend that's like a mentor, someone who's been down the road of buying and selling houses. And I'm gonna say, how do I back out of this? When is a good time to sell this house and buy a house I can't afford? Yes, you've lost closing costs. Yes, you've lost on some other fees and down payments and things, but it shouldn't be a 30-year mistake because you didn't do your numbers right from the beginning. Whole life. Yep, you're gonna lose your initial deposit. You're not gonna get anything out of it. You're not gonna get the money back that you put into it. So, don't mean you gotta do it for 20 years. Now that you know, timeshares, that's the perfect instance. I keep saying I'm gonna do a timeshare video, and I will. But once I bought a timeshare 20 years ago, and this is before all the information was available online. So people buying timeshares now, I don't understand how y'all doing it. There's too much information available online to keep buying a timeshare. But anyway, once you realize the issue, you better self-correct. No one is making you stay on that bad road but you. You are beholden to yourself. And if you have a family, you're beholden to your immediate family. Stop doing things just because you think you made a contract with something and you didn't. And things that are under contract, homes, cars, etc., there's still a way out without punishing yourself along the way. So figure out that way out. The second reason people stay on those bad roads, my dad made a comment. I'm laughing because it is not nice, but I'm gonna say it anyway. He was talking about someone who looked rough. Okay, I'm not saying they were ugly, they just looked rough. And it's an old Southern expression. He said he looked like 10 miles of bad road. And because I've born in the South, not raised in the South, I just imagine all these bad roads, these bad dirt roads. I live in Egypt. They got a lot of bad roads. And I just laughed for at least 10 minutes. I mean, it was hilarious. Anyway, the reason we go down this bad road and we're worried about what other people think. I refer back to what I said before. You're only beholden to yourself and someone else. Half the people that have comments about you and your life don't matter at all. They're not paying your bills. They're not giving you income. They probably hardly come visit. They may not even know you and your kids, and they just like to talk, and they don't matter. So stop worrying about people who ain't worrying about you when it really matters. So don't worry about what it looks like. Just do you. Do you and do what's best for you and your family so that you can build the life that you want, emotionally, mentally, physically, and financially. The third reason that people keep traveling down this road is embarrassment. And I refer back to the first thing again. Who are you embarrassed to? We all make mistakes. I bought 2 cars I couldn't afford in my life. And the only way I fixed it was I finally almost just gave a car away. Like I sold it at CarMax when I was moving overseas. And I didn't care what they gave me for it. It was a mistake I made and I paid for it. And then from that moment on, I always bought almost new cars that were slightly used, like a year, a few months used, and I bought it that way. So we learn from our mistakes. You are not imprisoned by your mistake. And if you think you are, then your circle isn't big enough where there's people around you saying, honey, I've made that same mistake. I've done that. And here's how I got out of it. So don't be afraid to backtrack. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say, I want to leave. Don't be afraid to say, I changed my mind. Because it's going to cost you emotional stability, mental stability, financial stability, trying to keep up with the Joneses, save face, or overcommit yourself to something you don't have to be committed to. So this is my true, real talk for the day. Invest in yourself. Don't invest in other people. Stop worrying about them when you're trying to invest in yourself. At least 1% a day to reach your exponential greatness. This is Teddy Ewing, signing out.